So what are 9 things that I learned when I wrote my first book? I wrote my first book from April, 1st of April until 31st of October. So April Fool's Day till Halloween 2016. And it was a non-fiction book based on cognitive biases, which are things in our brain that affect how we think and perceive and act, and how to use those to give you an unfair advantage in entrepreneurship. So the 9 things that I learned is that 1, a book is never really finished. You can keep tweaking a book, editing and rereading and proofreading a book for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I read mine 6 times. You can keep doing that, and your book will never be finished. And you can leave it alone for a week or 2 or a month, and you look back and you think, oh, change this, change that, tweak this, add that, do this, do that. There's so many things that could be changed. And then even now, looking back at my original book, if I was to do a second edition, it will probably be twice as big, because in the space that I launched it, I've learnt a lot of things, and my writing confidence and abilities increased, so I could make it almost twice as big, which I think is pretty cool. So a book is never truly finished. A book is a very good thing for building credibility. Let's say you go to a business networking event, and people are all giving out a business card, and you say, here, take a copy of my book, a slim edition, or a copy, or a way to download it online for free. As soon as you give someone your book as opposed to a credit card, it is so much more credibility, because not everyone has written a book. Not everyone's got a book. Not everyone's sat down and actually written a book. Which kind of goes on to my third point, that millions of books are published a year. Around 600,000 to 1 million books are published every year. But how many authors do you know by person? How many authors do you know by name? I know 2 authors, soon to be 3rd actually, by first name. He's writing his first book. And I know about 6 in total, or 7 in total, but most of them are about 2/3 are acquaintance. So I know around 7 people in the world that are authors by first name, by person, that are authors, out of a population of 64 million people in the UK, and how many billion people in the world, and how many authors do you know? As soon as you write a book, you're in the small minority of people who have sat down, put their ideas into paper, put their ideas into a manuscript, and done something, and sat down and wrote and thought and planned and written a book. Pretty cool, quite rare. Another thing is, it's very cheap and easy asset to create. An asset in the world of finance is anything that puts money into your pocket, whether you sleep or whether you work or whether you don't work or not. So when you create a book, you put it online, even with no marketing, it's bound to make some sales. Not very many, because you've not done much marketing for it, or depending on a few other factors. But a book is a very, very easy asset, especially non-fiction, or even fiction as well. Because non-fiction, 50% of the stuff is in your head. It's all in here, it's knowledge. Other 50% of the effort is just writing the book and proofreading it and getting it legible and all the rest, and then getting it onto Amazon or getting it onto wherever else you want to get it, Barnes & Noble or wherever. Even fiction, come to think of it, although it's a little different, a bit different ball game, because it's more to do with world creating and character development and plot and narrative and structure, things like that. But still, it's a very easy asset to create, because for non-fiction, half the stuff's already in here. Just get it onto paper, write about it, and put it in the world. And people buy it. You get book royalties, an asset, it's income. That's very easy to create. Not so much a discovery, but a primary aim that writing and creating a book boosts your confidence. It's something I kind of realised, that if other people were to write a book, it would increase their self-confidence, and they would say to themselves that, well, once they've written a book, it proves to themselves that they can write a book, they can create value, they can do something awe-inspiring, they can do something remarkable. It proves to them that that person has value. So from a self-esteem point of view, writing a book is rather invaluable. Well, the principle really is to create something and put it out in the world that people can consume and attribute to you and learn from. So if you write a book and you put it on Amazon, for example, you've created value, you've done something quite remarkable that very few people can do. Again, how many authors do you know? As soon as you do that, it really proves to you that you can do some really cool things in life. I think it's a good way of boosting your self-confidence. I didn't doubt it at the time, but back in March of 2016, I was at a business conference, and they recommended, and they were talking about how people should write books. And when I first heard the idea of write a book, I instantly thought, "Oh, I can do that. I'm going to do that. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm going to write a book." I think other people back then were dubious that they could write a book, that they had a book inside them. I now know that we have like millions and millions of megabytes and gigabytes in our mind, which can hold trillions and pictures of trillions of movies and all the rest. And you're telling me there's not enough data in your brain, not enough knowledge, not enough information, pure knowledge in your mind to even write one book? Yes, there is. So it's like when people first think write a book, they don't think there's a book in them. But when you start writing down the ideas, writing down the layout of the first chapter, writing down the notes or what you're going to talk about, stuff like that, you soon realise that, like an avalanche, you soon realise that, oh, there's more stuff to talk about. I can write about more things, and it just floods to them. And then before you know it, you've got the skeleton of a book, and they're just filling all the rest in. So I think a lot of people doubted they had a book inside them. Let's see, I'm just checking my notes. It's a good way of expressing yourself as well. Creating a book is a good way of expressing yourself, because as soon as you start, creating a book that something that you know that you would read, and something that you know that you're knowledgeable about, it's an art form. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's a way of expressing yourself and putting something out into the world that people can like and enjoy. And it's also a good business card, as I said earlier, because you can give it away for free. And different books have different purposes as well. So you can have one book that is a profit book, another one that's a passion book. The profit book is based around, a purpose around your business, so highlighting a need, creating a customer demand, sparking controversy, getting press attention, things like that. Or a passion book is something that probably more fictional, where if you had this idea in your mind and you want to create it for your children or for the history, or just for the family, because it's like a nice little heirloom or a nice little signature, little masterstroke kind of thing. But there are different kinds of books, and passion and profit. And each book is designed for different purposes. So as I said earlier, if you have a business and it's selling a certain product, you can create different kinds of books, and from there derive different kinds of videos or blogs based around this idea that this book encompasses. So you can say things like controversial things that'll get press attention. You can start creating and highlighting a demand. You can start highlighting a need, or highlighting why this product is better than that product, or stuff like that. So different books, certainly in a non-fiction business and marketing context, have different purposes. And as soon as you realise that, you can start churning out loads and loads of books for a business, or at least finding loads and loads of ideas that relate to the problem that you solve and why the customers should really care about your product. And lastly, I kind of think that writing a book is doing your idea justice, and writing it down and putting it into word form. Do your idea justice and write it down and put it into the world. Let other people know about your idea and share your experience and share your knowledge. Because imagine that you're on your deathbed and your ideas come to you in an ethereal form, and they say to you, "We could have lived. All you had to do was reach out and grab us. All you had to do was write us or talk about us and share us with the world, but you didn't, and now the ideas die with you." And hell on earth, some would say hell on earth is meeting the person you could have been. A lot of the regrets of the dying, people on their deathbed, is that they wish they had taken more risks and wish they had done more adventurous things in their life. So it's like, if you do nothing with the idea, if you don't dare to go out to stick your head out of the crowd, stick your head out in the world, your ideas and your ambitions, your thoughts and your desires will die with you eventually. And hell on earth will be meeting that one person who did decide to pursue his dreams and ideas and make something out of them, turn them into physical things. But it's regret through inaction. So do your idea justice, write it down, or at the very least package it. It doesn't have to be a book, a blog, video, podcast, journal, article. It could be anything, commentary video. You don't have to show your face. Create content that is based around your knowledge or expertise and share it with the world. Do the idea justice, do your idea justice, and share it with the world. That's the other thing I learned while writing the book. How cool is that? If you haven't already, subscribe. If you like this, comment, share. Check out the other comments below. There might be some interesting things worthwhile learning from. Subscribe, click the red button. More stuff on the way. How cool is that?